Hey guys, hope you're well. It's Aseem Sharma, training manager from Solframe Consulting. Today I want to recap on something I mentioned last year, which was dealing with disagreements, more so dealing with disconnect. It's funny because everyone has a different perspective on things, and if you're close to someone and there's a disagreement, sometimes it can get quite heated. And often the disconnect lies in not being able to see or understand or appreciate another person's perspective. And then, people say empathize or try to put yourself in their shoes or maybe detach yourself from the situation and so on and try to think in an objective manner, which is all fine. But one trick I have kind of learned because I have very strong opinions about things and I'm very happy to debate with people about them is learn to disagree with yourself. Literally, learn to disagree with yourself. As in, um, let's take an example of let's think something which is not too controversial, but it's a world debate. So if people say that with climate change, we're transitioning to electric vehicles, which is fine. Personally, I still am concerned about the sustainability of powering those vehicles because obviously, when you recharge them, they're only as green as the power that you put into them. And of course, renewable energy sources are being, procured somewhat. I wouldn't say that it's perfect what's happening, and we are lagging behind, let's be honest. But some people, I was reading an article actually, some car manufacturers, I will not name who they are. I'm not trying to turn this into something political, it's just for, exemplification. And that is that some car manufacturers still think that a fuel-based or a motor engine-based systems are sustainable, but obviously not using petrol or diesel, but some sort of biofuel, which has been around for some time, or using fuel cells or hydrogen and so on. So there has kind of become more of a disconnect in the sense that most of the car manufacturers are saying going onto one side and talking about EVs and saying that this is what we've got to do, and other some selected manufacturers are saying that no, this is no way to go. We still have, maybe 20, 30 years down the line that we can do this, we can transition it, we can make it less polluting, but not go completely electric. Because there can be problems with infrastructure and charging and, range and things like that. Although arguably electric vehicles, apart from the battery, tend to be more reliable than, internal combustion engines because, there are less moving parts. There's less to go wrong, and you don't really have any gears. But anyway, let's not talk about the technicalities of this. Now, how would the two parties be able to agree or see it from another person's perspective? And one way they could do that is say that, okay, I'm going to disagree with myself. I'm going to challenge myself. So that is my best way to take a step back, detach myself from the situation, and say that listen, this is what we've got here. Can I consider it from a different point of view? And if I can, what would be the advantage or disadvantage of doing so? So obviously an advantage of using a fuel-based system is that you probably would have longer range and it's not going to impact people in terms of infrastructure or put as much demand on charging points than compared to EVs. But then again, it is still somewhat polluting and they're I really don't think that people are going into EVs just because they're reliable. It's more of the environmental issue. So you can already see that the positive points of EVs over ICEs, that gets somewhat offset the moment you take away or remove the environmental aspect, although that is the driving force of it. So that's one thing. I think you should learn to disagree with yourself, and if that means dropping your pride, then so be it. I have, disagreed with lots of people about different things, and it becomes very tough when it's, someone close. When it's someone who's really close. You care for them, they're a family member or, someone who you love. That really does, become difficult, and sometimes, your emotions cloud your judgment and your rationale when you're speaking in the heat of the moment. So this is one good way to deal with that, and that also demonstrates true empathy. That look, I am willing to, put this aside and take a fresh look at it. I am being open-minded. So I think that's one good way to deal with things. The other thing I wanted to discuss is in life you will come across many situations where you have options and you're not sure which path to take, path A or path B, and I've mentioned this in one of the recent videos. And we have a fear that if I choose the wrong path, then something unknown or something untoward can happen. There is something known as the right path. It's not always the case. I want to introduce a new perspective, which is within reason. Every path that you choose in life is right because you make it right. And it's easier said than done, but I've experienced this many times. I've experienced it lately as well, that initially I thought that, oh, someone has given me an ultimatum and I should do this because it is in maybe my financial interests, or it serves as a short-term interest. It has that kind of safety net. But I'm a kind of person who doesn't always just want to think about practicality and safety. I also want to think about my future and being able to expand it and not limit myself. And a lot of people are like that, being driven and taking risks, educated risks. So I ended up choosing a different path with the intention that it would allow me to continue, doing something which would earn me something as well. But it kind of fell apart soon, and I was kind of numbed by that. And I'm not really thinking about it now. Again, it's with time to an extent. Things kind of, you gain perspective and you gain composure and closure as well on maybe a traumatizing event. Having said that, it has given me this new perspective that look, Aseem, initially you were going for this. You changed your mind based on certain factors. You considered it. You did your research. You spoke to people. You made an informed decision. It wasn't rash. You took a couple of days to think about it. But when you noticed that what you were getting into, that in itself, the dynamic of that was evolving so rapidly that it became unsustainable, and people, started taking you for granted, or they didn't keep to their word, so to speak. I won't say much more. Then I decided, okay, I perhaps erred here. I did. I shouldn't have, done that. I should have based it on contingency, but I took a chance. I'll have to cut my losses, whatever those are. But I would have always thought that if I hadn't done that, what would have happened? So that is also something to consider. So I want you guys to take away two things from this video. One, learn to disagree with yourself when someone else is telling you otherwise, and they may be wrong. They may be wrong. It doesn't matter who they are. They could be an authoritative figure. They could be your parents. They could be someone who you really respect. Sometimes you need to make decisions based on what other people have said, but based on also what works for you, based on practicality, based on maybe your perception, sometimes your gut feeling as well, that kind of thing. And number two, no path as such, within reason, again I'm repeating myself, is wrong. If you say that, what, my job is okay, I'm not quite liking it, but I'm going to quit and I don't even know what I'm going to do after that, that would probably be wrong, because how are you going to support yourself or your family? That's a rash decision. Having said that, if you have something else in mind and you're not sure because it's a bit unknown, why not take a risk? Because, the people who have taken risks in life, a lot of them have ended up becoming quite successful. They may have suffered during the process, and those people who don't take those educated risks, they end up staying in some sort of mundane capacity within their workplace, or maybe more generalized, their personal development or career. And well, that doesn't work out well for a lot of people. Retrospectively, in the middle of their life, they may have a crisis, and they may say, Aseem, I should have done this. I should have done that. I have regrets. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you found it useful. Anyway, for further tips and tricks, please do subscribe to our channel and like this video if you haven't already done so. You can also find us on FB, Insta, LinkedIn. I'll put the links in the description. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave them. I'll try my best to respond. And please do visit our website if you would like to enroll in any of our courses. We focus on personality development, soft skills, communication skills training, interview preparation, public speaking. You would find it useful, and it's always good to be able to speak more effectively and get noticed for the right reasons. Anyway, till next time, please do take care. Thank you very much, and goodbye.